thanks a lot, everyone, and welcome to this sixth episode of the Hope Lunch Talk. Actually, we are in the second season. I'm very happy to see some people here today. And as always, I remind you that this episode, as all the other episodes, are being recorded. And so you will also be able to rewatch it, or to the people that were not able to join us today, they will have the possibility to watch the recording through the hub. If you don't know what the hub is, please also write a message in the chat so I know that I should explain it a little bit better. If you don't have access to the hub as well, please let me know, because that's the place actually where all the services for the members are. So all the Hoop services are there. Also, you will receive less email from me. Also, the recording of the Hoop Lunch Talks are there. So if you really don't have access to the hub, or you have access and you don't know how to use it, you are experiencing some troubles with it, really, like, even drop a message here today. I'm sorry for the light. So that I can help you and we can support you. So I'm very happy today to have with us Fiona. Fiona is, I mean, as you could see probably from the meeting, from the invitation that we sent, there was another colleague of Fiona as a speaker, but Fiona is definitely a great member of the Hoop consortium. She's representing today CSCP, which is like the long name stays for Collaborating Center on Sustainable Consumption and Production. And it's an international nonprofit think and do tank, that's what you say, which I like it, that works with businesses, policymakers, partners, organizations, and civil societies towards a good life. And they are our main partner in all the activities that are somehow related to stakeholder engagement. And this is the main topic of this is the topic of this sixth episode of the Hoop Lunch Talk. So the Hoop project really works a lot also in technologies, in replication strategies, so through the Hope network. But a very key part is also the stakeholder engagement. And CSCP and other members are doing a great job with this through the lighthouses. And so today we wanted to share with you, with also the members, to some strategies that we have implemented and some results that we already have. So feel free then to save your question for later for Fiona, and I give you the floor. So Fiona, please. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks a lot, Serena. Good afternoon, everyone. Very nice to see you. I'm very happy to be with you and to also meet some new Hoop network members that I haven't met yet. And of course, to see familiar faces from our Hoop Lighthouse cities and regions and Hoop partners. Serena gave a great introduction already about me and about the CSCP. So I will not dwell too much on that and maybe jump straight into our the topic for today's lunch talk, which is on how to bring stakeholders together. You should be able to see my screen now. Let me put it in presentation mode. There we go. Yes, so how to bring stakeholders together is, or bringing stakeholders together is a part of the Hoop project and is part of the activities that the CSCP is leading in Hoop. And this is a cornerstone of the Hoop project, together with the technologies and the part of the project development assistance, because without the stakeholders, we cannot implement any of the solutions that we come up with. Just as a brief introduction to show you that at the CSCP, we have experience in stakeholder engagement in many different types of projects. A few examples are shown here, and we always work in a team as well, and the rest of the CSCP Hoop team is shown in the photo as well. In the Hoop project, as you might know, the core of the project is centered around 8 lighthouse cities and regions in Europe. So we have Almere in the Netherlands, Bergen in Norway, Murcia in Spain, Western Macedonia in Greece, Greater Porto region in Portugal, Albano Laziale in Italy, Münster in Germany, and Kuopio in Finland. You will notice that these cities are and regions are spread out around Europe. They're very geographically diverse. Their sizes are diverse, and they also have very different experiences with citizen engagement and stakeholder engagement. So what we do in the project is to work with these cities. Sometimes it's with the municipalities. In other cases, it's with waste management companies, with universities, or with the clusters. And together we co-develop the stakeholder engagement process for biowaste valorization. So what is stakeholder engagement? It is a guided process during which all relevant actors are included in frequent exchange and join forces to achieve a common goal. So essentially, it's dialogue that is purposeful, it's intentional, so it's dialogue that is also goal-oriented, it's facilitated by a facilitator, and it's repeated. So it's not just a one-time thing, but it's an ongoing process. And the reason for this is to create trust between the stakeholders along the biowaste value chain, to create the trust that is necessary for cooperation, for co-developing the solutions, and also, of course, for implementing the solutions. So when we talk about stakeholders, who are we actually talking about? We have, of course, the waste management companies in the cities and regions. They not only collect waste, but they also sort, and in some cases also look for revenue streams for the valorization of the waste that is being collected. There are research and innovation actors that are finding new ways to add value to biowaste. There are restaurants, hotels, and catering services that are both producers of biowaste, but in some cases also potential consumers of biowaste-based products. Retailers, of course, serve as the interface between consumer and producer. Citizens are a keystone of the biowaste value chain, again, as both producers of biowaste and also as potential consumers of biowaste-based products. Then we also have public authorities on local, regional, national, supranational levels, and they are responsible for creating the legal and regulatory framework in which all of these other actors act, but also for providing like strategic and policy direction to guide actions from the other stakeholders. So how does stakeholder engagement look? In the WHO project, this takes place within what we call Biowaste Clubs, and Biowaste Clubs are simply a format for to set up a dialogue platform for the different stakeholders to come together at the same table to discuss what challenges they see and face in biowaste management and valorization. And the Biowaste Club is flexible enough that it allows for them to co-develop and also decide for themselves which challenges they want to address, which ones are the most interesting for them and most relevant, which solutions they want to pursue, and maybe even to implement certain actions within the Biowaste Clubs. What can Biowaste Clubs achieve? Well, through Biowaste Club meetings, which, remember, we said are facilitated, purposeful, and repeated, the participants can identify the main challenges, the opportunities and interests to be addressed, and to co-decide and co-design specific activities to implement. So some of the things that Biowaste Clubs that can come out of a Biowaste Club is a change in behavior through citizen science projects. It might be, one of the purposes might be to translate kind of a high-level circular economy strategy or policy into concrete action on the ground. It might want to focus on piloting actions to raise awareness and to educate citizens. The focus might be to dive into policy and legal barriers and try to overcome those. It can also evaluate its own engagement of stakeholders in the city, and to look into commercialization, new revenue streams, new business models for biowaste. That was all very abstract and a bit theoretical. So when it comes down to it, how can a city achieve this? And of course, stakeholder engagement can take many different forms. In HOOP, one of the forms that we focus on are these Biowaste Clubs. So here we have a step-by-step kind of guideline on how to set up and run Biowaste Clubs. This is taken actually from a deliverable from the project, How to Biowaste Club Playbook. So it's a manual on how to set up Biowaste Clubs. You'll receive these slides after the talk, I think, and you can check out the deliverable in the link on the top right corner. So concretely, first, we would need to map the biowaste value chain in the city to see what the main biowaste streams are, then to map the relevant actors along this value chain. So who influences and is influenced by the local or regional waste management system, then to highlight the circular bioeconomy aspect of this. So look, it's essentially like a gap analysis. So looking at what still needs to be done in biowaste management in order to contribute to a circular bioeconomy. Then we want to match these points, these topics to the relevant actors and to invite the actors to discuss these. This is discussed then during a Biowaste Club meeting, whose conclusions are then collected and analyzed. And most important, I think, is to see how to make the leap from having just, discussions during these Biowaste Club meetings to actual implementation of actions. So the Biowaste Club could start with, has to start with this trust building between stakeholders that may or may not know each other in order to kind of create the environment for collaboration and cooperation. And then to create a common vision, to create joint action points, and then also then to implement these action points. In the 8 lighthouse cities and regions of HOOP, each has established its own Biowaste Club and has run several Biowaste Club meetings now. It's sometimes they experience challenges as well. So we are very open about this, that stakeholder engagement is not a given, and it's certainly not an easy process, because so much of it relies on trust building and goodwill and cooperation and bringing people together. And sometimes this might be even more difficult than the technical part of the solution. So based on the experience of the lighthouses, we have identified, or their experience has shown that there are several common challenges. One of them is citizens being unfamiliar with the term circular economy and not really connecting with the circular economy concept, because this term is not really in everyday conversations or everyday language so much. Maybe we take it for granted because our line of work focuses so much on circular economy. We hear it all the time, but the majority of citizens do not feel a connection with this concept. Another main challenge is, of course, that key stakeholders have limited time or limited interest or limited budget to participate in meetings or any activities. And also that the focus of the meeting is too general. So it's linked to the second point as well, because the interest to participate, I mean, in our work as well, we would go to meetings or workshops only if it's interesting and relevant to our own work. So if the focus is too general, we have found that people are less willing to join. So looking at the first point, there are some possible solutions as well that we have tried. So first, to make sure to translate academic and complex terms into everyday language. And it also really helps to give concrete examples of actions. So when talking about the circular economy, to give an example of what this might look like for the average person. Regarding limited time, interest, or budget to participate in biowaste clubs, it's very helpful to look for funding from either from the local authorities or from other funding sources. And also to connect to existing initiatives or projects. So instead of having to start from scratch and to have to implement all these activities from scratch, to kind of piggyback off existing. It could be to piggyback off existing, like if the city has some kind of strategy already that promotes these kinds of actions, to really like take advantage of this. There might be other projects already happening on the community level or on the city level that you can join forces with. This is also a chance to attract and to gain participants for the Biowaste Clubs. And then also to align activities of the Biowaste Club to support the stakeholders, so the participants, daily work and motivations. For this, we need to have a very clear understanding of what the business of each stakeholder is. So what is their job? What are they trying to achieve in their work? And the Biowaste Club ideally would support them in this. So not be an extra task or an extra like demand on their time, but instead to say, oh, okay, so you as the waste management company, you are looking into, or you're trying to find new revenue streams for the biowaste that you collect. The Biowaste Club could help with this or be a supporting mechanism for these discussions to happen. So to really align the Biowaste Club activities with the stakeholders' motivations. Then in terms of the focus being too general, we recognize that this is a bit of a kind of chicken egg situation where you need the focus in the beginning to be a bit general, because it's a co-development and co-creation process. So we cannot predetermine from the beginning what the outcome of the meeting will be. But at the same time, it's an iterative process, right? So we need to take time to understand the stakeholder needs, as I said just now, and then to plan specific actions based on these, and then also to leave room and space for co-development. So there could be an initial focus to draw the certain stakeholders in based on what you know about their needs and interests, and then to create the environment where they can then still decide which aspects to focus on. These challenges and solutions and more are highlighted also in this link, this tiny link on the bottom right corner. This is a report from the HOOP project as well on the engagement activities in the 8 HOOP lighthouses. So have a look at that if you're interested. There's a lot more information and detail about what each lighthouse city and region is doing in terms of stakeholder engagement, what topics they're focusing on, what kinds of stakeholders they're focusing on, and kind of how they want to steer their Biowaste Club activities. Yeah, so to make it even more concrete, I just wanted to mention a few examples of Biowaste Club topics from like actual Biowaste Club meetings that took place in the Hoop lighthouses. So in Albano, for example, in Italy, we had the valorization of used cooking oil. Almere in the Netherlands is currently discussing with several solution owners how to ensure bio-based feedstock by creating a multi-purpose fiber bank. In several cities, there's also interest in using spent coffee grounds in restaurants to collect the spent coffee grounds and then also to use them to grow herbs or mushrooms in these restaurants. Also to look at, when looking at, reaching out to different communities in the city to engage with migrant communities for household separation. And in Western Macedonia, they also installed one of the outcomes of the Biowaste Club meetings was to install sensors on biowaste bins in order to optimize collection. So to be able to sense when the bin is full and then to send in the collection trucks at that time. So I want to end with this very colorful slide with photos of our different Biowaste Clubs and Biowaste Club meetings in the different lighthouses. So as you can see, they can take a lot of different forms. Some of them are meetings and discussions around a table. Some of them involve very interactive exercises with the participants. Some, especially during the early days of Corona, took place online, of course, and then some are even site visits outside in the cities. And yeah, so I kind of want to leave with end on this note to show what the different Biowaste Clubs have looked like up until now, and then maybe also to ask you, especially the network members, whether some of the things that I have mentioned in my presentation, does it sound familiar to you? Is it something that you have already implemented in your cities and regions? Are you engaging your stakeholders in different ways in terms of biowaste? So yeah, maybe if we have some time now, I'd be very happy to take your questions, of course, but also to hear from you how stakeholder engagement looks like in your cities.
Thanks a lot, Fiona. I think it was very interesting and also very clear. I think also you had, it was very interesting, I think, also for the members to see the different kind of biowaste clubs, how they can be organized and all the process, the methodology that through Hoop and other projects we are implementing. And I think the results are there. It's quite clear. And we will probably also soon share it through reports and whatever. But I also remember that in our, if you follow a Hoop in our social media, we are in Twitter, LinkedIn. There are also videos showing how the Biowaste Club are organized. So just go there and have a look. So yeah, I would actually open the floor to, I see some members among us, I counted 3, and also some, I would say we have 3 lighthouses as well. So maybe if one of you, we know the lighthouses, they have experience on the Biowaste Clubs, but maybe if among the members there's someone, really feel free. This is a safe place. We are all friends here, so don't be shy. If you like experience in your territory this kind of strategies, or if you actually already have in mind like some challenges that are similar to the ones that Fiona mentioned when you try to work on bioeconomy and you experience these barriers, let's say, if you ever thought about these kind of strategies, or if you did something similar. Really feel free to raise your hand or just open your microphone and share with us. I see we should have Torre Vedras, also from some Danish members, and also Luigi from Italy. Otherwise, I also open this to the lighthouses if you want to add short comments on your experience on the Biowaste Clubs.
Yeah, yes, if I can, I would like to add that, for example, in our experience in Albano Laziale, thanks to the coordination of ANCI Lazio, the Association of Municipality of Lazio region, would be very, very interesting a participatory process also in online digital version. And thanks to our stakeholder, Luigi Acquaviva, that is here with us in this meeting, it was possible to engage a very interesting group of students. The importance to receive a new strategy, also to collect the exhausting fraction of the oil, vegetable oils, through the thoughts and the ideas of students was very, very interesting. And newsletters from the school, for example, originates with some interesting ideas. So the very interesting option of our network, we invited all the cities and regions to join us, because the idea would improve our networking and our discussion. It was very, very amazing about the different type of stakeholders. So thanks again for this opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Giorgio. Actually, I take maybe while if there's someone that wants to take the floor, please really feel free. I also wanted to highlight that there are some Biowaste Clubs coming soon. So maybe in the meanwhile, I can share my screen to show. Should we, do you see? Yeah, great. So these are, I just collected in this few slides. You will receive them, of course, together with also the slide that Fiona just presented. Just the main events that through the HOOP project you are invited to join as member of the network. So the first one in terms of timing, let's say, is this festival Riscarti in Rome. It is organized by Albano Laziale, one of the HOOP lighthouses. They will be on creative recycling, sustainable art and culture. So really feel free to go there if you are, well, probably if you're it's based in Italy, it would be easier for you. Otherwise, there's on the between the 13 and the 14 a Biowaste Club in Albano Laziale. So for the Italian city, would be very, I think, good to participate. So I leave the links, but also feel free to contact me if you want to know more. But through the links, you should have access to all the information. Then on the 26th, there's the Biowaste Club in Murcia. So again, one of the strategies that was explained by Fiona will be implemented in Murcia. So it will be a co-creation workshop. So very creative, not boring at all. All the Biowaste Clubs of HOOP are very interesting, and it's going to gather industry stakeholders. So these again, it might be in Spanish. It will be in Spanish. So again, for the Spanish speakers, maybe just have a look at the event and contact me if you're interested, if you would like to participate. Another interesting meeting is on the 10th of May, a conference on urban circular bioeconomy that it will be organized by Tecnalia on, specifically on urban biowaste and how to transform it, to valorize it through the bioeconomy technologies, and how to establish a sustainable circular urban bioeconomy in cities and regions. So it's exactly the topic of HOOP. So if you are around, if you are interested, just have a look at the link and just get back to us or register. Feel free really to ask any question you might have. Another important one, it will be here in Brussels. It's organized together with between HOOP, so our project, and the CISO. It's another Horizon project, and it's really focusing on financing. So many cities, actually, one of the challenges is to find the right way to finance projects. So this event will be really about this. So all the cities that are developing or even designing a project and they would like to find the good funds and the good investors, the right investors, really have a look at this event, because it's open to, of course, to all the cities and regions. And so it would be a good way, let's say, to start your to boost your project. And then another one to keep in mind is that on the 16th June, there will be a study tour in one of the HOOP lighthouses in Kuopio in Finland. And there will be many activities. The agenda is still being drafted, but for example, I can tell you that I talked with Kuopio, and actually they are here today. So if you have specific questions, you can really ask to them. So there will be visits to the Circular Economy Laboratory of the Savonia University, a visit to the Water Security Laboratory, and also one to the local recycling center. And these usually we already had 2 HOOP study visits. We visited in total actually 3 HOOP lighthouses with other members, and all the time it was a very good moment of interaction between different cities. Don't think that just because you are not based in Finland, you can't go, because most of the time actually it was very interesting to see different contexts and cities of different size as well, to exchange ideas and solutions and also practices at local level. So really feel free to get back to me if you are interested. This last slide is something that it's applied to all the events that I presented. So all the events that are organized through the HOOP or the HOOP projects are open to the HOOP members. So as you are HOOP members, I'm now referring to I think we have 3 members now, but also to the members that will watch this recording. They are supported financially to participate in the HOOP activities. So all the HOOP study tours and study visits, the Biowaste Club, you can participate in all of them. Just you have to, and you will receive all the financial support to cover basically all the costs you will have to by going to Finland or to Murcia or to Albano Laziale, because you are a member of the network. This is one of the biggest service we provide to you as member of the HOOP network. So really feel free if you are interested in one of these events, or you would like to know more by one of these, to get in contact with me. You have my email, or even now if you feel, because we really we would like to really offer more and more opportunities to you. We are trying to organize much more activities as we can to give you really the opportunity to also meet face to face the lighthouses, the other members. And all the time we already did it in the past, it was a success. It was a very good way to exchange doubts and solutions. So really have a look at these events. I will share with you this slide after, in this afternoon. And the last one, just save a date for the next HOOP Lunch Talk, which will be always the last Thursday of the month, so on the 27th of April. And you will receive, as always, a communication by me. I see a message in the chat. I don't know if it was for... Yeah, okay, sorry, I missed Margaret. So I don't know if there are questions, maybe from some members that are still here, about everything we said. If you're interested in if you have questions for Fiona or in something that I share with you, if you have something to say about the hub, really this is the moment Okay, thanks a lot, Luigi, for joining. Maybe before leaving, I just wanted to, I will share again my screen. I wanted to show you just that, so you should see the hub right now. Do you see the hub? Okay, great. No, now you see, why do you see this? Okay. So once you go to the hub, just to say that we are still developing the design of the hub, so it will change. But for now, this is really the place where you have all the services. So once you enter in the hub, you are already connected as a member. So you just click on your name. You have basically access to all the services. To have a look at the previous episode of the Hoop Lunch Talks, and